Hello, you're watching Expat Living, and in this week's episode we'll discover what CNN and many other international media outlets have come to Vietnam for the local craft beer culture. So what's so great about it? Where does it come from? Who are behind it? There's only one way to find out, by meeting one of them, one of the insiders of it all. So what are you waiting for? Let's check it out. The arrival of the French in Vietnam in the late 19th century brought along many Western specialties. Among them, beer drinking culture quickly gained popularity. The first beer factories were set up by French brewers Alfred Hummel and Victor Leroux in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Since then, the Vietnamese beer industry has experienced drastic growth. Beer advertisements such as these even became an integral part of Vietnamese beer lovers' memories.
Có thể bạn không cao, nhưng người khác cũng phải liếc nhìn. Saigon Special, chất men của thành công.
Chân thành sau trước vẹn toàn, đậm tình miền Trung. Hú đa đậm tình miền Trung.
From north to south, the street beer culture grew under the name Beer Hơi. This is also where I will meet one of this week's characters.
Yo!
Alright, so nice location you've picked here. Why have we chosen this place? What's great about the local, beer drinking culture here?
Well, it's the traditional craft beer of Vietnam. This was what got it all started. This is where the idea of Pasteur Street came from. The local Vietnamese people really enjoy beer and love to hang out and drink. The food mixes amazing with beer. And then just the overall, the warm weather, that pairs amazingly with beers. Yeah, so the three major components that go to a good night out drinking make it a perfect location for beer.
And Vietnam's got it all, right?
Exactly.
So how does that link to the business idea of PSBC?
Well, so John, co-founder, originally he had been here for the 6 years and had noticed while Bia Hoi is delicious, while it is the essence of craft beer, was still missing a little bit of flavor. There was a lot to be done on these local markets, selling the different fruits, selling the different ingredients and make an awesome beer with exploding flavor that not only was going to appeal to local markets and local people that had been eating those fruits for years, but then also those people that are coming in that may have never heard of these fruits or never seen these fruits.
Okay, so alongside the local street beer culture here in Vietnam, a dynamic and young craft beer culture has been born, and this is the perfect opportunity for brands like PSBC to penetrate the local Vietnamese market, and it is at a local craft beer restaurant like this that they managed to do so. So what's cool about it? Why don't you take a look around and I'll enjoy this lovely Macau beer of mine.
it's growing really, really quickly. The idea that Vietnam had high quality ingredients and could produce high quality, really, really world-class products, it was something that kind of came on all at one time. And Pasteur Street, with their with the flavors that they use and the really great concepts that they bring to their beer, I think that was a huge part of that movement that happened at that time.
Pasteur has a really great way of incorporating Vietnam into their beers. I actually never had a passion fruit before I moved here, and now I can't do anything but drink passion fruit wheat. That's just my go-to in most situations. Light in alcohol, so you can drink a lot of it, and you know, it's tart and yummy.
In another corner of Ho Chi Minh City, the craft beer movement has caught on with the Vietnamese beer lovers too.
Khái niệm về craft beer mà Pasteur mang lại đã đem lại người ta nghĩ tới một cái gì đó khác lạ về bia. Tại sao lại là đóng chai? Tại sao phải là uống lon mà không uống tại vòi và là tươi? Chính vì điều đó mà đã mang lại cho Pasteur nói chung và tại nơi này nói riêng những người muốn tìm hiểu một điều gì đó mới mẻ hơn về beer craft.
Nó thật sự là rất là thơm, mà thơm một cách rất là tự nhiên. Mình sẽ nghe thấy cái mùi thoang thoảng của với cái vị hoa hoặc là những cái loại rất là quen thuộc, và nó rất là tươi ấy. Và khi mà mình uống vào ấy thì nó rất là êm. Và nếu như mình có nhỡ may chả may mà uống say ấy, thì ngày hôm sau mình vẫn cảm thấy nó là bình thường chứ không bị đau đầu.
Within only 1 year, 35 new craft beer outlets have risen across the country. So what makes Vietnamese drinkers want to pay 3 times as much as they would for street beer?
So the speed that Vietnamese people caught on and adopted it and really loved it, that even surprised us. Vietnamese people here are incredibly internationalized. They know what's going on in the world. They see the trends going on in other countries. And when it comes here, particularly to Ho Chi Minh City, I think it just explodes. And if it's something that is good quality and you know, it's more or less fashionable.
This explosion led to a congregation of 15 craft beer breweries in Ho Chi Minh City in August 2017. When talking about the growth of the craft beer culture here in Vietnam, there's no better indication than the festivals here. And right now, we're at the Saigon Beer Festival, which is very awesome, and it is also a great opportunity that the PSBC crew will certainly not miss out. So, let's find out what's exciting about it.
Friendly. Everyone in the craft beer scene knows each other pretty well, and so everybody helps each other out and wants to get involved in knowing what's going on in the other breweries, and so we all hang out and try each other's beer and support each other, and it's fun. It's just a really good time.
The strong domestic demand for craft beer allowed these craft beer producers like Pasteur Street to upscale production and expand. that you've learned about the inspiration behind the brand PSBC, as well as how far they've gone in their conquest of the drinking culture around the world, you may wonder what the story behind it is, how they all started and all that stuff. This is exactly why we are down here, back to their roots, at the headquarters of PSBC. So what are you waiting for? Let's follow me. Okay, so now that you guys have grown into like a big corporation, you're exporting to many countries, CNN came all over here to feature you guys. But how did it all start for you guys here?
So it was a very tight-knit crew at the beginning of Alex doing most of the brewing and most of the kegging, and then John doing most of the back-end work, and then we had a bartender and a server or two. And as of right now, I think we just hit our 60th employee last week. So we have definitely, over the last 2.5 years, grown exponentially. It's been awesome.
When you first started it all, did you think that it would grow into something like this, or did you just want to do something fun?
Obviously, the dream was there for us to be the largest, most well-known Vietnamese craft brewery. We are able to use fresh juice, fresh spice, fresh everything. We are buying directly from a farmer, taking it, getting it juiced directly for us, and then putting it right into our beer. Using these kind of ingredients in the US would be very expensive, or you would be using an extract, which extract changes the flavor of that beer. Having that natural fruit juice in there really makes it some of the best in the world.
I know these are some of the most passionate, hardworking farmers you can find. That's why we teamed up with Maru, is because they only work with the best there is. One of the big deals we partners with them is so we could source the best ingredients that Vietnam has to provide. Would you care to meet one of our local farmers?
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it. Vậy thì chú ơi, những cái công ty như kiểu là công ty bia PSBC này cũng như là Maru thì họ đã đạt được những cái giải quốc tế từ những cái hạt cacao mà từ những nông trại mà giống như nông trại của chú tại Việt Nam ở đây. Thì chú cảm thấy ra sao về điều này hả chú?
Chú thì thích làm cacao chất lượng và mình trồng theo cái quy trình là đạt cái chuẩn mà nó không cho nó an toàn về vệ sinh thực phẩm mình đó. Thành ra là chú thích bán này cho Maru, vì Maru là mua hàng chất lượng cao. Mình làm phải đạt như vậy, và đồng thời những công ty làm vậy chú rất phấn khởi, rất mừng để người nông dân mình được trồng nhiều và chăm sóc tốt hơn nữa.
Vietnam's unique ingredients allow expat producers to provide distinct and edgy products. Using Vietnamese cacao, Pastor Street managed to win a gold medal at the 2016 World Beer Cup for the Imperial Chocolate Stout. After all that, I'm sure both you and I have a lot of questions about the secrets behind these delicious bottles of PSBC beers. That's why Bran has sent me all the way here to meet the brewmaster Dave and learn about all the real magic. And here we are at the source, at the factory, a beer factory of PSBC. So, all your answers lie right there behind that door, and let's go in. Dave, how you doing, man?
How's it going, Michael?
Excited, because it's my first time at a beer factory.
Welcome. So this is where we start our process. After we come up with a recipe and some idea of what kind of beer we want to make, we organize a grain bill depending on, you know, how dark the beer needs to be, how light it is, how sweet it is, how much coffee, caramel, whatever flavors we're looking to get can be derived from malt. So in order to get that exposed, what we need to do is mill it. So we take it over here, pour it right in. This is an ideal crush. What we're looking to achieve is we want to maintain those husks in as good condition as possible, but we want to make sure that all of the innards, all of those starches on the inside can get exposed. So, welcome to the brew house.
Wow, these things look funky. What are they for?
So, like I was saying, the first step is getting that crushed grain at the right temperature. So the first thing we're going to do is put it into the mash tun. So once that is done and we mix it with the water, if it's at the right temperature, the natural enzymes are going to convert all of those starches, or at least most of them, into sugars. So that's the main bulk of the brewing process, is mashing. Making sure we're hitting that and we're getting the consistency and temperature that we need. So as soon as that happens, we give that roughly 45 minutes to an hour of rest time. So once we get all of our sugars here and we've rinsed them thoroughly, we transfer them over here into the kettle. Making beer involves boiling, it involves using hops as an antibacterial agent, and it also requires fermentation, which further helps to ensure that no living pathogens can survive in beer. This is typically where a lot of hops are added, so the earlier in the process we add hops, the more bitterness we perceive from them. The later in the process we add hops, the more flavor and aroma we get from them. So depending on what kind of beer you're trying to make is going to determine how much and when you add hops. This is why beer is so much more important than water ever was. So basically everything that we did in the brew house is to make sugar water, to make appropriate sugar water for the kind of beer we're trying to make. The yeast, we know through centuries of domestication, perform in a certain way. So this tank is exclusively designed for the fermentation and the yeast gathering from beer. So what the yeast does is take all of those sugars that we produced and turn them into alcohol, CO2, and then natural byproducts that vary depending on the strain of yeast.
This is where the science comes into play, right?
It does. There is a lot of science at work. It's time to pick your poison.
All right, cheers, man.
Cheers. Oh, you didn't say chomp one chomp.
Yum. I needed that. Been looking forward to that the whole day.
Ow, that does feel good.
And finally, the last step is packaging and sending these mouth-watering batches off to restaurants near and far. Alright, so as you can see, my face is all red like fireworks right now. I guess you can't say that you've been to a beer factory until your face goes this red. You want to have the same fun and experience that I did? Well, don't be shy, come down to Ho Chi Minh City and visit PSBC and you may have the awesome experience that I did. So now, as usual, is the time for our section of timeouts.
Do you want to become an English teacher? Do you love traveling and meeting new friends in another country? Or having fun while gaining work experience?
On this edition of Time Out, I will show you one way to do so that will save you a lot of money and give you many good experiences. So first, let's visit a summer camp.
Gateway is an international school located in the city of Hanoi, which teaches children from 1st to 7th grade. This is where we will meet today's main characters, the volunteer teachers. English summer camps are the choice of many parents in Vietnam. Basically, it is a summer camp for students where all interactions are in English.
Rainy? Nope, we're only guessing words.
Brianna is in charge of the class today. She is training to be a teacher in the US and has volunteered to teach English in Vietnam.
Hello. Hi.
Can you tell me more what you're doing here?
Yes, there's me and 3 other interns from America, one from Canada, and we've been in Vietnam for almost 2 months, and we've been traveling out throughout Vietnam teaching English at different English camps.
English summer camps are becoming popular as they offer games and other fun activities to help children have a good time while improving their English.
Every intern has different ways she does things, but in my class we do a lot of hands-on activities because little kids don't like to sit down and stay still. So we work on reading and writing and speaking. So we have parts in the class where we're talking, and then other parts where we're writing out sentences to work all aspects of English.
In summer, many native teachers go on holiday, so the volunteers are a great help to the remaining teachers in organizing the summer camps. Volunteer teachers can take charge of lessons, practice their teaching skills, and get to know the local teachers and students during field trips.
We appreciate the volunteers here at Gateway International School. Every year we have at least one summer camp. This year we had several. And volunteers play an integral part in the summer camp because the children still get to play and learn at school, even though most of our teachers are still on holiday.
There are many organizations that can help you become a volunteer teacher. A simple Google search can get you dozens of results. The general requirements are: first, you have to be a native English speaker. Second, you need to have an English teaching certificate. For volunteering, you will be provided with an amount of money to cover food, travel costs, and lodging. In return, volunteer teachers have to help teachers with their classes. It can be hard work, but it's a good way to gain real-life experience for future jobs.
My team went with Teach Beyond, and they made it really simple. You filled out an application, and they review your application, and then they kind of walk you through the process for fundraising and things like that. And they have so many opportunities. Teaching English or teaching overseas is something you really want to do. They have long-term trips where you're over in a different country for a year or 2 years.
In a summer camp, students spend the morning in the classrooms. After a break at noon, they spend the afternoon playing group games with the teachers. Activities both inside and outside the classroom are combined to help the children learn teamwork and also create a bond between them and the teachers. For the volunteers, the trip to Vietnam is a memorable one and has taught them many things.
I think it's amazing, and it's totally added to my teaching experience. I'm a teacher in Canada, but teaching overseas has helped me grow and learning about culture differences and language differences. I love Vietnam, so I would be happy to come back here, and it's just really exciting to be with the people here, and it's just a really good experience.
I learned a lot from the people here, because people here in Vietnam are so friendly, and everyone's a friend here, so I thought that was really cool, and I think I'm going to keep that in my heart forever when I go back, just to be nice and be friendly to everyone.
So if you're into teaching as a profession and want to travel to new places, learn more about people and their cultures, volunteering as a teacher is not a bad option at all. See you on the next time out.
That's wrapped up this edition of Expat Living. Now, thanks for tuning in. Do not forget to log on to vtv4.vnoyoutube.com/vtv4go for more of our content. Goodbye for now, and thanks for stopping by.